What's happening, peeps? It's your boy, JTrain83, the real Enthusi-Artist.
This is going to be my first how to draw video by request from a viewer by the name of Bronx Rail Fanner. He wanted to see how I would draw an R62A class subway train. So let's get started with the video. So I'm gonna draw this out in mechanical pencil. So I'm gonna draw the subway car out in schematic form so you can see how everything looks as I draw this train. First off, I'm gonna draw this out in rectangular shape first, because that's gonna be the body. So as you can see, I'm going to draw this out in rectangular shape. I'm going to draw it out to the way that I see fit. That way I get to the detailing part a little bit later by drawing the windows, doors, and number plates. Everything you see on the train itself. So as you can see, I'm carefully drawing this out in rectangular shape, but I'm also want to put out there, make sure that you also use good judgment when you draw a train. Rail vehicles are not as easy as it looks when you draw them, so you want to make sure that when you draw the vehicles, you want to draw them out to the way you see fit. And make sure you fit everything onto the train itself when you draw them. So that is done. And we're gonna go to the next part real soon. So that's, the completion of that part. So as you can see here, I have my eraser with me. But I always make sure that I keep it in handy in case if I make mistakes, or as Bob Ross would say, happy little accents. So now we're gonna get on to drawing the next shape. That's gonna be for the roof line of the train. So as you can see, I'm not using a ruler whatsoever, and using my best judgment to carefully draw the shape out for the roof of the train. And I gotta make sure, that I carefully measure it out as possible. It may look as easy as it is in this video, but trust me, it's not, But I've been doing this for such a long time that I, always make sure that I'm very careful. I try not to do too much erasing, so I like to draw everything out as possible, with that. So now the roof line part is done. Now for this part, what I'm going to do is going to draw out the faces on the ends of the cars. So you're going to see how I'm also doing some slight detailing, but that also includes drawing this out as a shape as well. So my hand might be in the way for drawing this end, but don't worry, I'm going to draw the other end so that way you'll see much clearly on how I'm able to draw the side view part of the face of the R62 subway car. So as you can see, I'm carefully drawing out the shape and positioning them in a way that the ends don't look too flat, but at the same time I try to make sure that the ends don't look like it's too far out there. So that one end is done, and now I'm gonna do the other end the same way, kind of like a mirror effect if you think about it when you look at it. So detailing it from one end the same way, and I'll do it to the other. As you can see, I am doing some half detailing there, but don't worry, there's going to be more detailing involved once we go further in this video. So I'm drawing out the shape on that end. Almost done. Draw the line extended at the bottom. Well, draw the line to the bottom. Then extend that one out a little bit. And so now that concludes doing the ends of the faces on the car body. So now I'm going to draw the body frame that's underneath where the doors is positioned. So that's where I'm going to start off on the ends where the diamond toe plate is on the face of the train. So I'm doing that with some detail. And then I'm going to draw a thin line right underneath the main body. So that's the body frame. So I'm drawing that as carefully as possible. And as I draw carefully with that, I make sure that I draw, as steady as possible and not make it too crooked. Again, I've been doing this for years, so it takes a lot of practice. You got to train yourself to keep a steady hand when you're drawing rail vehicles. So now I'm drawing the other diamond toe plate on the other end of the car. And that's your underbody frame drawing. Now we can worry about detail. So I'm gonna draw now the window on one end. Pretty much that's the open end window where the passenger side is. So that's the first window. Of course, I'm adding some detail to that. I don't like to half-ass my work, so now I'm going to draw the other window on the other end. That's where the conductor or train operator position is. So I'm drawing the window for that. Once that's done, I'm going to start to then add the doors. So once these windows are done, now I'm going to show you where I position, the doors after the windows. So with that, now I'm going to show you that's where first door is, the middle door, and as well as the last door. So once I draw these doors, again, if anything doesn't fit in how you draw the rail vehicle itself, you can always use an eraser. I'm probably going to keep reiterating this, throughout the video. So if you want to perfect the way your rail vehicles look, make sure, you have everything there is, to perfect your drawing, So I'm doing the second door. Again, keeping a steady hand, and now to do the last door. Now, once I draw out the main part of the door, what I'm going to do is I'm going to detail the outside parts of the doors. When you ride each train here in our subway system here, every train has got a detailed look to it. Everything from around the doors, around the windows, various rings, pantograph gates, you name it. Whatever components you see on the train, it has a detail to it. So I draw like how I see it. Alright, so now the doors are now finished. I also finished drawing the bottom plate part of the doors. So now I'm detailing now the sides. Make sure you draw when you draw these rail vehicles. You always make sure you pay very close attention to what you're looking at on the rail vehicle itself. So every train has something to it that may look similar to each other. That one particular train might have more detail than the other. Like living example, R44s and R46s. R44s tend to have a little bit more detail on its body than the 46 does, which is kind of interesting. So now I'm getting to the windows. So the first window, that's your regular passenger window. So that's going to be the picture window with the vent on the top. Got to detail that. Just drawing this out with a steady hand. I'm a sucker for detail, so I always like to make sure. Now I'm drawing the second window. That's the second window that's going to have the window with the curtain destination sign. Also, when you draw a train, always know the position of where the destination signs are located on every train. Every train has destination signs that are located like in a certain side or section of the train itself. That also helps. So you'll notice that when each time you look at a train when it passes by. So now the doors and the windows are done. Now I'm going to draw the number plates, because that's where it's positioned, next to the windows on the ends of the cars. Yeah, so that's done. And then now what I'm going to do is now draw the lines on the car body. Carefully doing that with a steady hand. Try to draw it as straight as possible. Don't make the lines too crooked. So if you make sure, just be as careful as possible. Drawing it out as detailed as possible as well, as you can see. Keep drawing the lines. Nice and steady, as you can see. So the lines are almost done, so I'm done on that. Almost done on the end. So now the lines on the main car body is done. So now I'm gonna go back to messing with the ends of the cars, where I'm gonna draw the end sign on one end of the car and a protective shield where the train operator conductor position is located on the train. Drawing the first end, which is where the end sign is going to be revealed. Doing that with some detail. Always like to position things as the way I see fit, where everything is not too outward or too inward. So you kind of have to treat your eyes kind of like a camera and how you look at a train when it passes through, whether if it's on the elevated tracks or on the subways. So those ends are done. Now, the next part we're going to draw is the pantograph gates. So on that end, I'm drawing a line, and then I'm going to draw the next outward line on that end. That way it sticks forward. And to draw these pantograph gates is pretty easy. Everything is done by shapes. So what I'm going to do now is draw the diamond part of the gates. And then after that's done, I draw a letter X right through the diamond, and that is your properly designed pantograph gate. Then I add the next detail to it, so that part is done. Well, almost done, I should say. And then now I'm going to add some detail to it on the outside part of the gate. This is a very commonly designed pantograph gate seen on a lot of subway cars here in our transit system, from both A division and B division lines. So that pantograph gate is done on that end. So I'm going to do the same thing now on the other end. So everything that's being done on one end, I'm going to do it on the other. It's basically the mirroring effect. So now I'm going to do the same thing like the other side, draw the line right on the end, draw another line, that's going to be on the outward part. So now we're going to copycat, draw the diamond shape. Once the diamond shape of the gate is done, then you draw a letter X through the diamond. And that is how you will draw your common design pantograph gate. So now I'm going to add detail on that end as well. And so now that's almost done. It gets easier when you learn to draw, trains. It becomes second nature. I've done it so many years, so that pantograph gate is done, as well as that one. So that's how you draw the gates. Now, the thing with the R62, 62A class is that it has rigid lines on its roof line. So what I'm going to draw is the vents on both ends first of the car before I do the rigid lines. So as you can see, it's the example of where I'm going to position the ventilation grids on ends of the cars, as well as draw the rigid lines on its roof. So that's ventilation grid number 1 on that end. Of course, I'm doing that with detail. Now I'm doing the next end. Everything is a mirroring effect. So as you can see, the car body design is coming along just right. I'm making the R62 look like an R62. Now, if you happen to like this video and happen to make any requests for me to do any more how to draw certain subway car classes, I'll be gladly to oblige doing that. So now I'm going to draw the rigid lines on the roof. It's all about paying attention to the detail when you're looking at these trains. This is why I'm able to draw each train in the way that I do them, because there's so many pictures and stuff like that, but a lot of this is from eidetic memory, because I go to these, locations around the transit system, and when I would rail fan, I don't do it as much as I used to, so I do a lot of my drawings, when I'm just here at home. So then again, a lot of my drawings are always done here at home, so that's not a, unusual thing. So I'm carefully drawing the rigid lines on the roof. And always take your time too. Always have patience in how you draw these rail vehicles, because everything is, all lines and shapes if you think about it. But it's also how carefully you draw the cars out too. So just each stroke of rigid lines on the roof, making sure that this train looks exactly up to par. So that line is almost going to be done because it's closer to the top. Everything is all angled, so you draw things like how you see it, and what's not there, you don't draw what isn't there, It's all about training your eyes like a camera. You draw exactly how you look at it. So now the roof line is completed and in detail. Now for the exact fun part. I'm gonna draw the wheel trucks, the couplers, and the underbody components. Now I've noticed some rail fans, when they draw trains, I've noticed some of them who show their drawings either here on YouTube or even off YouTube on social media, other platforms. I notice when they draw trains, they always leave out the wheel trucks, the couplers, and the underbody components. I get it that it's, very difficult to draw, but the thing is, you don't want to be too lazy with just drawing just the car body and then you'll be like, F it, okay, it's a train. Nah, push yourself to the limit. Push the envelope a little bit further with detail. So as you can see, I already finished drawing the first set of wheels. And I'm just drawing the second set of wheels. I'm doing that first before I can even draw the truck. And of course, I grabbed the eraser. Why? Because I didn't align the wheel the way that I saw fit. So now I'm just fixing that up again. Just trying to position everything to exact. So the first set of wheels are done and the second set of wheels are done. So now the next part I'm going to draw is now the truck. I'm going to draw the wheel truck. Now this is the first time I've ever done it like this. Usually when I'm drawing the trains, I usually just draw part of the wheel and then the wheel truck on the outside, and I don't really position the wheels because I already know where the angles are. Because a lot of my drawings is always done from perspective. All about training your eyes to how you're looking at the location when you're there. Treating your eyes like a camera, when you're on location. So I'm drawing the journal. And now I'm drawing the shoe beam of the trucks. You gotta add all the other components that's around the wheel truck. drawing the contact shoes. And also, now that the truck is done, well, part of it is I'm now detailing the wheels. And everything that's in there. So the first truck is now done. As you can see, now the first truck is complete. Now I'm going to go on to the second one. Going to draw the truck the same way, but the certain detail to the wheel truck is going to be like the reverse part. Everything has a mirroring effect. So I draw the shape of the truck. Doing everything as careful as possible. As I mentioned quite a few times before, everything is here all lines and shapes. So you want to make sure that you draw everything as carefully as possible. And if you happen to make any mistakes, always have that eraser in handy. And fix your mistakes. Just line everything up. The journal is already done on the wheel truck. Now I'm just adding the shocks and the shoe beam. And then I'm gonna add the contact shoe on that truck real soon. There goes the contact shoe on that end. And now I'm gonna detail the wheels. So now there's a small component I'm going to add on the end of that truck, which is your carborne tripping device. If it was a B division subway car, the carborne tripping device would be on the other end of the truck. So now the trucks are now complete. And now for the next part I'm going to draw is the coupler. So since I drew the R62 as a single unit subway car, because that's how they originally came in. They came in as true single unit subway cars. They wasn't arranged into like 5-car permanent sets until around the late 90s. From what I remember, it was around 97, 98 that they started to make the cars into 5-car permanent sets. So the coupler on that end is already done. Now I'm going to draw the coupler on the other end of the car. And for those of you already know out there in the rail fanning community, you know the R62, like any of the other SMEs, is retrofitted with what is called the H2C type couplers. So that is what I'm drawing, the H2C type couplers on both ends of the car. Now, once that's done, what I'm going to do now is then draw the underbody components underneath the train. So the coupler's already done. So now I'm going to draw the underbody components. Fans, resistor grids, batteries, whatever. Typically, that is what you see pretty much underneath all of every train here in our system. As far as with the wheel trucks and underbody components, the compressor, the fans, all that stuff. All that stuff is underneath there. That's also what contributes to the weight of the train as well, is why they're so heavy. The wheel truck is definitely the biggest factor of contributing to the train's weight when they run. So even when you're on a platform, when the train is running past, you can actually feel the weight of the train as it's tapping on the rail joints of the tracks. Yeah, so the underbody components underneath, that's done. So we're almost there, see? So this is our completion right there. So in conclusion, I'm going to draw the face of the car. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just draw it out in shapes. And then once the shapes are done, then I do the detail of the face. Right now I'm just starting off at the bottom part, which is your diamond toe plate. Keep in mind this is the front face, so I'm showing you how it'll look from front view. Now I'm just shaping out the front face. I'm also drawing it in a way that I will try to match from the side view. That way I don't make it look too small or too tall, you know. Okay, so the shape of that is complete. So now I'm detailing the face. Making a shape out of that as well. Drawing it as carefully and as detailed as possible. Try not to mess everything up. As you can see, the line and the shapes is looking pretty good. I'm still adding more detail. And the next part I'm doing is the front storm door. So as I draw this train, I'm doing my own type of measuring out and positioning so that I make sure everything looks as even as possible. As I mentioned before, you know, if you want to use a ruler, you can go right ahead. There is no judgment on that. Now I'm drawing the windshield side, or the protective shield. They don't even call it like front window, they just call it protective shield. And now I'm drawing where the ensign is. Now I'm going to draw the sealed beams and tail lights, because that's something you can't see from the side view. So this is to show you how I'm able to draw everything there. Now the next part I'm drawing now is the front view of the pantograph gates. As you can see, I'm positioning everything along with. You want to make sure that everything is lined up just right when you're drawing these rail vehicles. Every part to the train itself has got to be positioned along with. That way either nothing sticks out or nothing is like, positioned like, less than or less of, So now the front panel graph gate is done. So now I'm detailing the front with the lines as well, because it has that. If you look at an R62 or 62A on the road, you'll notice even the front part of the train has all the detail there is. So now I'm just going to add the storm door's front window. And to make sure that it's really a door, I draw the little doorknob where you lock the train door. And then now I'm going to draw the fixed chain. And as you can see, I'm drawing the little parts that is attached to the fixed chain. Of course, I'm making detail of that as well. Once again, this is one of my, this is only my first time doing a how to draw video, so if I'm not talking too much, please forgive me. Now I'm adding the detail to the ensign. That could be whatever route you want it to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, shuttle, doesn't matter. So now the next part I'm drawing now is the front view of the H2C coupler. So I'm getting down to the little detail, and then now I'm going to draw the main part of the coupler. That's done. Now I'm going to draw the front view of the wheel truck frame. I figured I'd do that first before I draw the wheels and the rest of the underbody components underneath. Of course, at front view. So now I'm drawing the wheel. Oh, well, actually, no, I'm drawing the step. And then now I'm drawing the wheel. Detailing the wheel as well, making sure that the wheel has what is called a flange. That's the outside part of the wheel. That makes sure that the wheel stays intact when it rolls on track beds. Now I'm adding some detail to the side of the truck at front view. That is your contact shoe on one end. Doing the same thing on the other side. Everything, once again, has a mirror effect. What you draw on one side is the same way on the other. There goes the contact shoe on that end as well. Next component I'm kind of drawing behind the wheel truck. That's your gearbox. And I'm drawing the axles behind the coupler. And I draw other components that's behind the coupler, One of the things you don't want to do is you don't want to half-ass your work when you're drawing rail vehicles. Now I'm adding, the little train line connection, the brake pipe, all that stuff. The pipeline, I should say. So that concludes on the front face, and this is how to draw your R62A car class in schematic view. Just want to say thank you for watching, and have a good one.